Okay, we're live.
You like I almost snorted. I had to put my finger up here.
Put your finger
Okay.
where?
Okay, Tommy,
Okay,
are you gonna
Thomas,
say something?
get it together, man.
Okay. Well, welcome to the Walking Dead chat. And
All
other
right.
than that, I got nothing.
We are gathered here tonight, people, to discuss Sunday's episode, The Same Boat, which I am still freaked out over. Moms, did it freak you out? Was it intense or what?
I didn't care for this one.
Okay.
It was like a girly flick to me. A
See?
sad girly flick.
I thought it was very chick flickish, and it was like Paula I am afraid of in real life. Paula is the best actress they have ever had on The Walking Dead because that girl scared the bejesus out of me. I was like, oh, I was scared for Carol. Okay, it's like, girl, we have met you times 50.
Uh,
I don't know that.
Okay, I tried to find out who the other girl was that questioned Maggie. And I know her from another show, and I can see her in the other show. I just can't figure out who she is.
Yep,
And I went into, I can't find out who she is.
and her name, her character was Shell, so short to Michelle, for Michelle, right? So maybe if you Googled, right, the Michelle or go to that IMD, whatever.
Yeah, it's not on. It only gives a 3 on the IMDb.
Oh, okay, because the heavy smoker was Malls, which was Molly, and it took me forever to understand her name. I was like, really? I'm like, okay, the smoking chick, the Maggie interrogator chick. I'm like, I need names. Okay.
Now, Mom's freaked me out because, it seemed like she had tuberculosis or.
She did.
She's a woman that didn't care.
Oh, yeah. It's like the end times. What the heck? Oh, yeah, and she caught, but that was definitely TB, man. But she was a mess. So I like the way it opened, right? Because we got to see more this time with Carol and Maggie arguing. And then Carol, right, shoots. I thought, everybody's thinking she's going to shoot Maggie. And she intentionally moves her gun a little bit and just wings him. And even later in the show, she said, I could have shot him dead. I didn't.
Yeah.
She's having a crisis.
Yeah.
And I don't like the fact that they're playing her that way. Where she's having a moment of consciousness. And I don't like it. I don't like where it's going.
To me, it makes it seem like they're trying to write her back into the weak role that she was in when she had her husband alive. And it's just not Carol.
Yep. Even on the Talking Dead, she said that she doesn't know if it's, when she was reading the script, is it an act that she's doing so that, like Tommy said, so she could pick a moment to strike and the girls wouldn't expect her to be such a viper, right? Because she was such a wounded little bird. She didn't understand what her role was either, And then I liked how we got to see the point of view from Paula with the two girls holding Maggie, kind of up on a hill through the binoculars looking at Rick, and how Rick and his crew, 8 of them they said there were. How many are there? There are 8. And they didn't have any idea where the saviors were, up there on the hill.
But if you watch it, it looks like every one of them was staring back at the saviors.
But they didn't know, Oh, and when they pulled the jackets up over Maggie and Carol's heads, oh, that freaked me out.
Yeah, that was a good point of view shots.
Yeah, and just looking at their feet and hearing voices, your heart would just be pounding, wouldn't it?
And I thought Carol's counting the steps. She's looking at the range. She's going to backtrack. That's what I really was thinking. She's going to get out and go back.
Yep. Counting, thinking, calculating. Yep. And Maggie was kind of not even really with it. This was a Carol episode. Ooh. And then I liked when they were talking on the radio, she's like giving codes and gamma and go to this channel. It's like, oh, these people are coordinated. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how about the amount of tape they put on Carol's hands? They had to I like tape her wrists together. I mean, we had a cone on those things.
Look. Now, first off, this is the apocalypse. They ain't making no more duct tape. You gotta spare that stuff.
That's what I thought. What they do? Rob a hardware store, or like 50 of them? You know?
Well, that just shows how organized they are, that they can waste that much.
Yes. Oh, and then how about when they're dragging the walker out of the room where they're coming to deposit Carol and Maggie, and Carol catches that girl's rosary with her foot. That freaked me out. And I thought, oh yeah, that could be sharpened into a weapon. But then I was raised a Catholic, so I'm like, honey, she's saying prayers with all them beads. You know what I mean? Then this was interesting. One of them yelled, "When's the last time we checked this place?" Right? And they said, "Oh, at least a month ago, almost a month ago. We got growlers. We ain't got no guns. We ain't got no food. We ain't got no ammo." So that surprised me that they fell back to there, and they hadn't even checked the place in a month.
Well, I'm wondering, how did all the growlers, as they call them, get in there if they had already cured it?
Well, you saw one.
Well, somebody went in and go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mom.
Go ahead, Mom. All right. So you know that the Hilltop people are getting food from somewhere, so they're sending their scouts out. So somebody, whether it's a Hilltop or another group, went in there and took everything that they wanted out of there, left it open for the walkers to get in there. So,
Brilliant.
but they went to that place because they just watched all their other people get slaughtered. So they're looking to retreat a little bit and regroup to see what's going on, what Rick and his group are going to do.
See,
that's why they chose that one.
You were such a deep thinker like Jason. Y'all get this stuff, because I didn't get that till almost at the end of the show when Paula said, "You took my home from me," where they slaughtered everybody. And see, you really got that part. And when Carol started hyperventilating, ooh, I was scared, because I was like, is she faking it? And then I love when Maul says, "Take some yoga breaths and calm down," right? Just coughing on a cigarette.
And even Maggie's looking at Carol like, "What? Are you being serious? Is this an act? What's going on?" Maggie had no idea what Carol was doing.
Oh no, she was amped up.
Yeah, like, what's... Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then when Carol starts ratting out, I'm like, "Shut up, put the gag back in." Tells Paula, "Don't hurt her or the baby." I'm like, shut up.
It kind of makes you wonder about that one.
Yeah.
Well, I think what she was doing there was showing that she is weak and stupid. That's the only, because I was like, why would you do that? And that's the only reason I could come up with that. Like, okay, this woman doesn't know how to retain any information. She's blurting out what, Maggie's pregnant. That's information that they didn't need to have.
Right.
So I think she's playing that ladies guild kind of thing again. But I don't know, because she played it so well. And the tears in her eyes when she was talking about her daughter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I'm wondering. What's the way they were portraying her, and the way she's blurting everything out. Could it all have got to her because she was keeping the names in her little book, and then the fact that Maggie's pregnant now, the mother instinct kicks in, and she just freaks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was around when Lori was pregnant.
Yes.
She was cultivating herself into this Carol that we know now, and she wasn't as strong and such a leader as she is now. But still, she was around a pregnant woman. So I kind of think she's playing. I know that the death, because she has that book and the 18 circled, I know that's bothering her. I don't know where they're going to go.
It's going to be wild. Did you understand the conversation between Paula and Maggie when Paula said, "The point is to stay standing"? And Maggie goes, and she's working that fake accent too hard, Maggie. "No, it's the walkers do that." And I didn't understand that conversation was important, but I just didn't quite get it.
It's because she chose to be. she chose to get pregnant and work towards something. When Paula's like, no, all we gotta do is just keep standing. Maggie's like, no, we've got to live.
Okay, see, that makes sense, because she was like, the guy was just a bed warmer. Once she lost her 4 little girls, nothing else mattered. And, oh, I want to know where your home is, that you had so cozy to be laying up, having enough time and food to get pregnant. Must have been real cozy there or something. And then, go ahead.
I also think that they're paralleling her with Carol. You were supposed to be able to see Carol and Paula and Carol. And I think they were just running that parallel.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep, because Paula is broke, man. That is not a fake wall. That girl is black inside. She got a black heart. And then I love when Molly lights a cigarette and Carol goes, the baby. And then Paula makes her put it out. I was like, shut the front door here. It's the freaking apocalypse, right? And of course,
okay,
Carol has
wait. It wasn't Paula that made her put it out. It was Shell that made her put it out, right?
Oh,
am I mistaken?
The dark-haired one, yes. Yeah,
because then she was pregnant and must have lost the baby or something. Something happened to the baby.
Yeah.
No,
all right. What, Tommy?
It was Paula.
I thought it was Shell. All right, go ahead.
Something else.
And then Carol goes, those will kill you. And Molly goes, they already have. We're in the same boat. A dead woman walking. And then she showed the bloody. That cough was bad, man. Oh, how about the wounded guy being a big old McWeenie, right? Moaning, whining. He's got the tourniquet on his arm. And he is wanting to kill Carol. I mean, this bee shot me. Then Paula says the scout team's 30 minutes out. And Maggie says he ain't got 30 minutes, right? Your man Primo, you think he can help you? She says, still don't know the guy's name. Do you, Tommy, or Moms? Who was Carol shot?
I'm thinking whiny guy.
Donnie.
Donnie, that's it. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then Maggie said he ain't got 30 minutes because he's bleeding out slowly, right? And he is mad, right? Carol did it to him. If not making the trade, he says, kill these two. And you can tell, at first I'm thinking they have this great plan and this scout team that's coming is going to be like 20 people or something, right? 2 people showed up. And they were running out of gas later. They said, we ain't got enough gas.
Yeah.
How about when Donnie slaps Paula? Ooh!
I hate that slap. I hate it.
Yep.
Drops to your knees.
Oh, yeah. And Maggie Tripp, I remember in Pretty Woman, when the Julia Roberts, whatever her character name was, says, what did they do? Pull you aside in high school and teach you how to hit just right on this cheekbone so that you see stars and almost pass out, but you don't? And, man, he hit her hard. So when Maggie trips him, then he pulls her up and she headbutts him, right? I was like, oh, and then he kicks her on the floor. So I'm thinking, oh, right in the stomach and back a couple times. And who knocked him out, Tommy?
That part I did not see because
Paula came through.
She clocked him, man.
My namesake.
So I got scared when Shell pulled Maggie out the room, right? And then she's sitting in chair like in a police interrogation facing Maggie and goes, right, where's your home? And then Maggie throws up. And, that could be from getting kicked. And for all we know, she could have lost the baby, right? And when Shell said to Maggie, you know you're not the good guys, because she realized Maggie thinks they think they're the good guys, So then Carol, in her weakness, whininess, thanks Paula for helping Maggie. And when Paula said, you are pathetic, I was hoping then that sparked something from Ed, because that's something Ed said to Carol a lot. Remember, you're useless, you're pathetic. And she just kept working that rosary. And when Paula said, do you believe that garbage even now? And when Carol said, I found my faith after my daughter's death, you could see Paula was such a good actress in this. Just her face changed. You know what I mean? And then we learned she had 4 little girls.
Yep.
Yep. Did the cut when Maggie was in there with that girl and she was wrapping gauze around her finger, that cut, having her finger cut off, did that seem recent to you, Moms?
No.
Mom is frozen.
No,
Okay.
and you gotta understand that time has passed, and she stole gas to put in a car to go see her boyfriend, what had happened to him, and that's that group of 7 men that Daryl blew up.
Yes.
You know, so I'm thinking maybe 2.5 months have passed now, maybe longer.
Wow.
Yeah. So if she did that right then, you know, that's not it's a not a immediate cut, but it's a recent cut.
Okay. And she goes, and I deserved it. You know, I stole gas. So that's their, you know, they have a creed or rules in there, right? What you do it. And then Maggie asks, you know, was Frankie, was that his name? That was her dad. I was like, oh my.
Now, see, I went back to see which one was Frankie, and I didn't have that download, so I don't know which one it was, and I don't remember them saying names.
They didn't say names. We only had that one guy talking directly to Sasha and Abe, remember?
Unless it's the guy that went back with Daryl. They might have named him.
Okay, that could be it. And then she lost her baby. So I was like, oh, she is angry at Maggie. You know, you could really feel she was a good actress too. And when she said only one of us is living through today. And still,
I thought that was poignant. You know,
yes.
You know who's going to come out on top there.
Yeah, but we were hoping anyway. But it was looking bad with a scout team coming, because I'm thinking, oh, they got a group coming. And how far away that scout team was to be 30 minutes out. That is not close. So it was like this one that our group rated was like an outpost, you know. Ooh, and how about when Rick calls Paula on the walkie-talkie, and she told him she'd get back with him.
Now, there's a reason why he got back with her.
There's a reason what, Tommy?
There's a reason why he got back to her. He wasn't looking for, you know, he wasn't really trying for the trade at that moment. He was trying to see if they were going in the right direction.
Yes.
You know, see how much clearer the signal was.
Yep. Yep. And then that was weird, but she was mad, like, you know, contacting him and then, oh yeah, I'm going to do and then calls him back about doing the trade. But, okay, with Carol, it's your people ambushed my people on the road, right? Now we know what happened to T like Tom's group. And then the smoker said we're all Negan. That was a very weird...
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I don't, unless the more people that you're claiming is Negan, like Kilroy was here.
Yeah.
You know, the more you get that, oh, Negan's out there, Negan's going to do this, this, and this. So it gives him more power the more people that are claiming are Negan. But yep. I didn't get it. I mean, that's what I'm coming up with.
And it was like, why do you want to let them know it's your group who took out those, you know, motorcyclists on there? Then when Paul, right, asked Carol, what are you afraid of? You are so weak. And then Paula's story was so sad, and the words I heard in my head was the government authorities telling them, shelter in place. The things that scare me every time when our government does it. So she's stuck in an office with a boss she hates. She cannot get to her husband and 4 girls, she said. So she had 4 girls. And she kills her boss with no hesitation because she was nothing but a grunt, right? And it was just, and then reading inspirational emails. I did, you know, there's 3 pots on the boil, an egg, a carrot, coffee beans. That was like, I was hanging on every word there because she was scaring me. So the Army took over D.C., they weren't allowed to leave, and they evacuated the important people. Congress, all the rich people, right? They took them first. and she could not get to her family. Is that not everybody's nightmare?
That's what 9/11 was.
Yes.
In Northern Virginia, I lived in Northern Virginia, and my sister-in-law worked at the Pentagon, and it was just terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you couldn't get a hold of anybody. You didn't know, you know, did she live? Did she die?
Yep.
You know, and she said all she did was start walking. And the Pentagon is literally surrounded by major freeways. And she said she just started walking and headed home, and somebody picked her up along the way.
See, but the most frightening time ever. Yes, cell phones out, but they don't have all the towers on top of the World Trade Building now. And we saw for our own selves in Boston with the Tsarnaev brothers, however you say it, the one was on the loose, and they're asking people, encouraging them to shelter in place. And people who didn't, they're holding them, right? They're coming out of their house, even their children had their hands up. That's not a suggestion. That was martial law.
Well, when the G12 summit was here in Pittsburgh, it was unbelievable, the martial law that took place.
Wow.
I am not. It was downright scary, and that was just a couple years ago, and that really opened my eyes to a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. When it's that flagrant, and you realize I'm limited to what food's in my house. What if today was my grocery run? Pick up dry cleaning, right? Get my mother's heart medication because today's the first day it could be refilled. That when it becomes really flagrant, and you realize that I'm stuck in here, I don't even have the freedom to travel. It's a slap in the face, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
you know?
Absolutely.
Ugh. So she kills her weak boss, right? And then that was a deep conversation. I wish Jason was here because y'all get this stuff, right? The boss she had to kill because he was weak and he was going to take her down with him. She stopped counting at double digits for the number of people she killed. And this is Paula, she's still me, only better. And you could tell that she was convicted in that. I'm still me, only better.
Well, I get that part. But she said that at 20, it stopped mattering.
Yes.
It's like,
okay, and then go ahead, Tommy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay.
To me, it just seemed
Spit it out, Tommy.
We're too slow and southern sometimes for Mom's Tommy. It's like stick your tongue out and let it read the words, okay?
It just seemed to me that when she said I just stopped caring at 20, you know, I've done some bad things. It doesn't stop hurting ever.
It stopped for Paula, Tommy, because I think she had to kill that many people to get out of her office. She had 4 children out there. And remember, Carol went to 20 in this episode. Remember, Carol was 18 in her book.
Okay, that's what I was getting at.
No. Carol went to a lot more than 20.
Okay, wait, hang on, Tommy. It's Mom's turn. You slow talking North Carolina boy. Mom's got things to say.
Okay, now, this is the pivoting point for Carol, because we don't know what direction they're going to take her character. Is she going to become, because I've killed 18 people and now I've added 2 more people, is she going to become that person that she's portraying? And this is a little scary because I love Carol. I love who she is. And she saw herself in Paula, which probably terrified her. So yes. I think what we witnessed was her going, oh my God, I'm this person. I become this person. We are no longer the good guys,
yep.
You know, which they really haven't. This was pivotal, you know, so I hope that they're going to keep going in the way that she is, but I think they're going to change her.
See,
you know, I think when she said that I killed 20 people,
yes,
and that changed Paula, I think she's going, I don't want to be that. I want to be this.
And
so,
I think
we'll see.
Nailed it. Before our crew, like against the governor, knew they were the good guys, he was the bad guys. Right? He beheaded Herschel, for God's sake. He killed Army National Guard, we saw, right? So there was a very clear line for us to see. Rick's group is good, this group is bad. But our group of so-called good guys rushed in with very little intel, no reconnaissance, and just laid these people to waste. You know? And then my fear was this. Go ahead.
They don't even know who Negan is. So we're all going in there because, we're afraid now, and we're trying to protect what we think we have.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I said a couple months ago, that the conflict between Morgan and Rick is so great. They're like polar opposites. That's going to come to a head, and I kind of think Morgan is building that for Rick.
Me too. Yes. That's what I thought. Then, how about Carol to Paula, right? After Rick called when he broke the rules, Paula was going to call him. See, Rick does not take orders from Paula. She didn't quite get that, and she sounded very authoritative. I would have been quaking in my boots if I were Rick. And Carol says, "You'll die if you don't work this out." And Paula goes, "Oh, are you going to kill me?" And Carol goes, "I hope not." Carol was just on point with her acting. She really was. That gave me the creeps. I hope not. And then Paula just cocks her head like, "Oh, you weak little bird." Then out of nowhere, Paula calls Rick back on the radio, right, and goes, "We thought about it. We want to make a train." And she sets a place for 10 minutes, right? And she picks up, that's an echoey room, right? There's no static. They're closed. So it's just what Tommy said, right? That Rick was calling so he could get a line on, are they heading the right direction? Because our boy Daryl's tracking them, right? Daryl tracked, maybe the footsteps, the boots of Carol, and a car took them from here. So they had an idea of which way to go. Michonne was running with that katana. I thought that was really intense, that she knew they're close. They might be right out the door. And Carol says, "Rick's a man of his word." And I thought, oh, God.
Come on, we all know Rick's not a man of his word. He's killed a bunch of people. No way. Yeah, he was free.
That's when I realized. I was like, "Carol, you like lying like a dog." Then, how about when they leave Carol, right? Because they need to travel light. So they're just leaving her in there, and I'm waiting for Donnie, who has not woke up from Paula punching him in the face, and he's laying on his bloody arm, right? Which we know could have knocked that tourniquet stick out. I'm thinking they won't do that again like we watched Andrea die when they put her in with a guy who was dying, who zombied out and bit her. So I knew they weren't going to repeat it because they needed to carry light, travel light, and that surprised me. And then Carol is working on cutting that tape,
Well, that's kind of weird that you just... Now, I've never done it, but she used the crucifix to sharpen up. I wonder how hard that would actually be to do.
It's not hard because I've actually done it because I wasn't captured.
That she spent in jail, she had to have that.
Yes. When you can't carry a weapon on a campus, you take your crucifix and you bring the bottom to a point, and it would be like, because you didn't have keys, didn't drive a car. So my dad had me do that with the end of a rosary, and you can hold it in your hand just like keys and swipe at somebody. So you could carry your rosary. So that's why I was, from the beginning, I thought she was going to use the rosary to do that. But when she was working the beads, and really, because that's what you do with a rosary, is you say a prayer with every bead, I thought, holy smokes, Carol's just praying for real. I mean, she's working the rosary.
Was that an act, or is she had a change of heart?
It's making me mental, and even her character didn't know.
Yeah, and that sharpening the rosary, they did that in the boxcar when they pulled the nails up out of the floor.
Yes.
They were sharpening them to make cutting tools out of them too.
You remember
so she's been in that situation.
Yeah.
Well,
so
she wasn't in that boxcar, but the other people were.
Exactly. So it's just something they kind of know. We got to make a shiv, right? Now, when she gets to Maggie, has Shell left? And then Maggie's working on getting herself. They left her like they left Carol in a room. And when Carol gets to her, Maggie says, "We have to finish them." I was like, well, Mama Dog is ready to kill people.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that she became, all of a sudden, the one that's got it killed.
Yeah, Herschel's the little girl. Glenn's woman. And then, how about when they run back in the room Carol was in, And when she rolls over Donnie, she goes, he was already dead and he was turning. And if Carol wouldn't have got herself loose, he would have turned and killed her. And then you could see his arm. He had bled out, but he was laying on it. So we didn't get to see all that. But when she was getting the rope off of him, remember it was like a lot of rope everywhere? And then, because I didn't see him have a knife, so they're getting a weapon. And when the smoker, Molly, opened the door and Donnie's on a rope just enough to reach her, that was the most awesome scene ever. And she was mad. She was mad. And remember how she went back in and went, Magnolia, calling Maggie Magnolia. That really got. And that Molly was mad, but still had a good sense of humor, right? You know, that was right, clever, you know, that sort of thing. So that got me. And then Paula comes back with a gun, and we didn't get to see what she looked at. So I'm assuming, I don't know what she was looking at. Is it Maul's dead? She is furious, and then cocks her gun. I love that. She was mad. She was fired up.
I'm wondering if Malls didn't turn into a walker.
Right.
You know, they didn't show it. She's just there, so she was turning into a walker, I think.
Then, how about, that would make sense. How about when they walk, Carol and Maggie are leaving, very calmly, mind you, and then they got all the walkers on those pointy sticks, and either Maggie or Carol said, that's to keep us in here and to keep people from coming in. That was brilliant. So I wonder if Paula did that alone, or had they been in there for months? You know,
they
the
had been
month
in there
that they
for
had
months.
been there.
Yeah,
okay.
They set that up because some of those walkers were on rope just close enough to get to you, but not close enough to get you. You know, just to put the fear. And if they wanted to, they could probably get to you. But hi, Jason.
Hey, Jason. And that should have kept people from stealing their food and ammo, right? But they got around that. Okay, thank you for that. You know, and then Paula fires at the walker. She looks scared then, right? And then Carol points the gun at Paula, right? You killed Donnie, Maul, Shell. You destroyed my home. Paula was livid. Livid. She was so furious at Carol, she could have ripped her in half with her bare hands.
Yeah, but it amazes me at the... Okay, Carol is a little petite woman, she looks like.
Yeah, she's little.
Paula looks like she's, you know, lived hard, worked out, became a tough woman.
Mm-hmm.
And Carol's just pretty much throwing her around, fighting her. And I'm like, how does that work?
All right, well, that's Carol's game. You know, Carol's, I'm a little bird. You know, that's how she played that. She's a genius.
But I'm saying,
but then when
was smaller.
When Maggie said we got to kill them, Carol was like, let's just go. You know, so they're throwing some hints in there, like it's a conscious thing for her. Like, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Like, let's just escape. Oop, Jason, you're roboting, babe. Say it again.
No, not going.
That's what I heard. You sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah.
Fix it, Jason, because we want to know what you said, buddy.
Yes, because Mom's needed you in here. Okay, so now Carol's at 20, right? She only wounded Donnie, so that one didn't count. How about when the walkie went off and Carol imitates Paula like it was her voice and goes, "Meet us on the kill floor." She nailed it. That freaked me out.
Yeah, but the kill floor, that just kills me when she says, "Meet us on the kill floor."
Yeah, because that's the sign she could see. Yeah, it's a slaughterhouse.
I was sitting there going, that's just crazy. They're still going to call it that even though they're in the middle of the apocalypse and everybody's getting killed.
But that's one of the signs Carol could see, and then you got to use the fewest amount of words so they won't know it's not her, right? And there's the little sign, kill floor. Remember, it's concrete slanted floors, so that freaked me out. But then I didn't know, was that a young boy who came with a man? Did that seem to be a young boy on the right side when they lit the room up and after in
Like a
flames to kill
25-year-old or
Fleur?
something.
Okay, so not as young as Carl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind
And
of
then
remind
they-
me of that one guy from Alone, the TV series. Like one of the, he was around like 25 years old. He kind of looked exactly like him, so I would say 25.
Okay, that makes sense. And then it's like when they just, how did the, yeah, Carol had the cigarette, right? Flips the cigarette in, gonna burn him alive. So now she's at 20. Maggie doesn't even look like herself. She just looks odd. And then when they throw open that door and Glenn is there, the discipline that they could have shot the snot out of each other.
Yeah.
You know? And it's God. So Maggie goes, now this really got me, right? So Daryl goes to Carol, puts his hand on her chin and go, "You good?" And she goes, "No, I'm not." And he hugged her. You know, I love that.
love that.
I almost
That's
cried, Moms.
Oh, it was reminiscent of the relationship that they've had, and it's been like a minute since we've seen the two of them together.
Yes.
You know, since
Yeah.
before Terminus.
Yep.
So I just love
And-
that, and it's not a like a I lust you kind of thing. It's my brother, my sister. You know,
Yeah,
that kind of.
Mom.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it was
I think,
awesome.
Wasn't that like the third time that he could have possibly lost her because he
Yes.
thought he lost her in the prison, and
Yep.
then when Rick exiled her, and then this time.
Yep.
So.
And remember when she came back went for Terminus and he went running to her and hugged her in the woods. And Rick went, "You did that?" And she went, "Yeah." Daryl ran to her like, "I may be a big motorcycle riding bad dude, right, with a bow, but that is my homie." It
Yeah.
is exactly what you said, Mom. It's a bond between a brother and a sister, even though
Yeah.
she's older, and she's the only one who he'll show that weakness to.
Yeah, that was perfect.
But Daryl got his motorcycle back.
Yes.
Woo!
Yep. And then this was weird, right? So Maggie says to Glenn, "I just can't anymore." Right, because you're pregnant. And remember the scene where she got sliced at with the knife and she looked to make sure it was just her shirt? Because I thought, holy cow, that would have been deeper. You know, she would have been disemboweled, but she lost her baby. And then when she looked up, she was livid, but I can't anymore. Right, because Carol was right. You shouldn't have been on this run. Either y'all made a decision, right, to pour the biscuit, right, to make pancakes, and now you got to woman up and go, "Okay, I got to stay back. I can't be this gunslinger. I just can't do it." And then that was weird.
Or when she was throwing up, whenever Shell was questioning her,
Yep.
is she miscarrying? I can't do this anymore. You know,
Yep.
They could be leading that direction too.
That's exactly what I thought. I said, this is not morning sickness. And you can get so scared, but I thought the same thing. She could have lost the baby, and this ain't the right place for a baby. And then, so that was the ending of that, right? And then Primo, I am Negan, right? Found the bike, and then Rick shoots him.
Yeah,
Rick's just like, yeah, some of this is becoming unnecessary because our guys are really becoming quite funky.
Yeah, and Carol could have said, wait, you know, got something out to stop Rick, because she knows that we're all Negan. You know, she knows that, and she tried to say, you know, what does that mean? And they wouldn't talk to her, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So she knows something's going on, and they had an opportunity to find out what was going on, and Rick was Rick.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's like, get rid of the... Okay, so Jason, you need to talk for a little while and tell us your feelings on this, because we missed you with your deepness and picking up the heart. Mom's had to carry the whole thing by herself.
It was hard. It was hard, Jason.
Yes,
she needs her wingman.
Yeah, but Daylight Savings messed me up on that. I even missed a little bit of The Walking Dead as well.
The time change messed you up?
Yeah. And I totally forgot about it, like, oh.
Okay, somebody boot Jason off the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, rookie.
Okay, clearly we need your cell phone number. Put it in the inside. Tommy will have the responsibility to text you and remind you, like me and Tommy never forget The Walking Dead's come on or Vikings. And we're old.
But I knew
We're
it was
young with a clean brain.
Well, I knew Walking Dead was going to be on that time, but it's just an hour back, so I didn't get to it in time.
Oh, listen, we understand. We've had our time challenge with you. It's 8 p.m. East. Remember we had to work out 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Took about 30 minutes to get down to it.
Yeah.
Listen, I can understand missing church because of daylight saving time,
Yes,
but not The Walking Dead.
right. And Tommy
Well,
missed
hey,
church because of the time.
Did you really, Tommy?
Yeah.
My husband handles all that. Like he'll start. Oh, daylight savings time's coming up. Daylight savings time's coming up. Got to change the clock. He's like the Rain Man with Kmart.
Yes.
Or Watner. So he was away this weekend, so it was up to me. So because it was up to me, I was so worried, and I used a clock that I didn't know if the alarm would work or not.
Yep.
So I didn't sleep at all because I was worried about getting up, being on time for work.
Yes.
So I didn't sleep at all. So I went like 24 hours and still caught The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Yeah, I was dying.
Trying to get the bath. See, I'll get up in the morning and my husband has changed all the clocks. But the first time in 35 years, he argued with me and said, there's no way this is the weekend we turn the clocks back. And I was like, yes, it is. It's all over everywhere, right? So he finally saw it on the Weather Channel or something. And he agreed. So just like yours, Moms, I get up in the morning, even changes my truck clock. But when he was working in Iraq, and I had to do it, he would send me an email, because we didn't have anything else, right? Make sure that you turn them back, and then my friends would call me or text me and go, what's up with the weather? Because my husband's a closet meteorologist, so he always knew, tell everybody get in the store Wednesday and Thursday's going to be bad. And I'm like, I don't know, my closet meteorologist, text Kevin, he'll tell you what the hell's happening in Baghdad.
Oh my God,
I don't know.
They have to meet. My husband and your husband have to meet because my brother started calling Roy the name of the local TV anchor here, like the weather guy.
Yes,
So they call him Roy Don Cannon Eschenbach.
And my husband will say, are you going to Sue's Wednesday? It's going to be real heavy rain because she has this big dirt driveway that you can't get in, so I have to wear my rubber knee boots to walk in through the slog. And he'll go, you might want to see if she wants to change the day. And I'm like, oh, big storm. And sure enough, there'll be a big storm. And he tells me that on Saturday. They know things. When he was gone, I'd get caught in bad storms. I'd have to call a friend and say, sorry, there's too much flooding. Who the hell knew there was going to be flooding? I had no idea. And they're like, well, why didn't Kevin tell you? Because he's in Baghdad. It doesn't even rain.
Never seen rain in Baghdad and Sloan. They don't know what rain is.
Exactly. He can tell you about sandstorm. Now, Jason, what part of The Walking Dead did you see? Did you love Paula? Do you like a bad girl? Or what's your feeling? Shell was a hotter-looking chick.
Yeah.
She's from something. You know what she's from, Jason?
Like Fear the Walking Dead, that web episode type of thing. But she kind of reminds me of her.
I don't want you to Fear the Walking Dead. She's on something that I watch.
It's making Mom scream.
And it's driving me crazy.
Yep. I couldn't remember the two words cocker spaniel today for people who were across the marsh who must have stayed one night in a rental house and their dogs would not separation anxiety when they went to breakfast for 3 hours. And then I finally saw them and I went, oh my God, I thought they were like little Pomeranians or Chihuahuas. They were those get excited, pee themselves cocker spaniels.
All right, so Jason, what did you think?
In the beginning, it was a little bit slow. And then once it, Carol and Maggie just got out of there, it got pretty intense. So I really liked it once it picked up.
Yes.
It felt like some people are saying it was just a filler of an episode, just put it in there until the season finale. And I kind of agree with that until the middle of the episode. So.
Yeah. It got hinky, didn't it? Because Moms at first, I thought it was kind of chickish. I did not like the 1.5 or 2 hour episode with Morgan and that other guy and that goat at all. It was just like people shoot me, But yeah, it was Very. What do you think? Carol's faking being weak, or is Carol having a thing of conscience, an attack of conscience, Jason?
I think she may be faking on that part with the hyperventilating part, of course, and
Okay.
then because she later like asked for a smoke of one of the cigarettes.
Right.
I think that's when she's kind of breaking down a little bit more, saying like what her real, how she really is, like you say.
Yep. Do you think the cigarette has to do with, remember, was it Miss Newbaum, who she told, it's a nasty habit, smoke outside, and that got the poor woman killed by the wolves? Do you think that goes to that? Because I don't remember ever seeing Carol smoke.
Yeah, I think like what she saw, that she kind of wanted to relax her nerves because everything bad is happening right now, and she's wondering if she should kill or not. I guess it's just a way to calm herself down.
Yeah.
That's
Now
true.
the thing with the cigarette. Do you know how Glenn told Enid, we keep them alive by remembering them. So I am just assuming that Carol started smoking to keep that other woman's memory alive.
See, you're such a deep sister. See, Jason always gets that stuff too. See, that's a really good point, because I knew this got something to do with Miss Nussbaum or whatever.
I was thinking
It
about
was
that a little bit, but I wasn't sure what to think about it.
Yeah. But when she told Daryl, when he said, "Are you all right?" and she said, "No, no," I was like, oh, and then he just hugged her. I was like, because see, I like the Carol when the wolves were there, and she just puts the bandana over her face, can think on the run, gets Morgan as a fake prisoner, and it's just, that's the Carol I love. And when she was on The Talking Dead, I didn't realize how pretty she is, the Carol actress. Very pretty lady. But she was a little incoherent because she didn't understand, is she faking it or whatever. But she could not, she was not a good interview on the hour of
She
The
never
Talking
does
Dead.
interview very well. And I think she has a hearing problem.
Oh.
Because one of the Comic-Cons that I was watching, they were repeating the questions that they were asking her. Like, she was sitting beside Daryl, and Daryl would tell him what the question was, and then she'd go ahead and answer. So
Okay.
she might be deaf. I don't know, or definitely have a very severe hearing problem.
Okay, see, that would make sense, because it was like I said, she didn't even understand the question. It's why she's stumbling to answer. Oh, that makes sense. And Chris Hardwick talks so dang fast.
Yeah.
I'm too caffeinated. Go ahead, Jason.
And even she said she doesn't know what's going on with her character.
Right.
I thought it was she was just sad about what happened on The Walking Dead. Like one of the close characters died. She's kind of sad about that or something.
Yeah, it was very intense. Maggie changed in there. And when Maggie's eyes got big, when Carol was hyperventilating, just what you talked about earlier, you could feel Maggie's adrenaline kicking up, because I was like, okay, Carol wants that gag. Now, you put a gag in me, I'm going to gag, right? I would have freaked out long before that, because there's nothing worse than that, to have that, because it makes it hard to swallow, And you're all, Tommy, what are you doing?
I'm sitting here listening to y'all.
Okay, because even JW asked in the external, guess Walker's got redneck.
Oh.
I ain't seen nothing.
I'm like, no, we just out-talk him all. And then he talks too slow for moms, who goes, come on, Tommy. Mom, you're going to spend 7 days with 4 Southern people. You're going to go insane. You're going to be like, stick your tongue out, let me read it, write it on a note card, get to the point.
My brother is like that. He can I can say something in 2 seconds, and it's a 45-minute conversation. And if you get him talking about cement, oh my God.
Cement.
Like, cement.
I likes to watch cement dry.
My husband's is structural integrity, okay, and critical path of scheduling my eyes glaze over. And then he thinks it's fascinating. In 25 minutes, he goes, "You aren't listening." "Oh, I am. I just don't know what the hell you're saying." But it is very hard. Now, Magnus is the worst.
Oh.
This Magnus.
We need Jerry for that.
And then I wait, and then I go, "What?" And he goes, "I was just thinking of something." "Okay, what, Magnus?" "Well," and it's like, oh my, that's not a live chat, dude. Okay, and then he'll go, "I forgot, Daddy." And
Hey, Daddy. Hey, Daddy.
Daddy, Daddy. Yeah, sometimes he goes, "Daddy, Daddy," in that deep voice. It's like Magnus. Just write it and hold it up to the camera.
Daddy, you tell her what I was going to tell you.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you
Daddy,
know how I
remember
think.
what we talked about yesterday? And I said, "Daddy, remind me to tell Mouse." So tell her. In like 18 minutes has passed. I'm like, gotta go to the bathroom then.
Oh, poor Magnus.
Mouse, you're bad. You started it.
He ain't
Well, I
even
started it.
want to be around us.
I started it. You took it all the way down the highway.
Rolling with Magnus.
When
There
Tommy,
should be like a separate chat. Rolling with Magnus.
yeah, you were not in here, Jason, when Tommy actually got to talk. Okay, in Mom's, now Tommy's taking a minute, and he's like, "Well," and Mom's eyes are getting bigger and bigger, and she finally goes, "Tommy, spit it out," because Mom was ready to snap. She had something to say. It was taking
Hey,
Tommy too long.
I'm at that age. If I don't say it, I forget in seconds.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
I'll walk into a room and go, "What the hell am I in this room for?" Sorry.
At least you're in the right house, right? When you have Alzheimer's, you don't even remember walking in. You don't know it's a room, right?
Yesterday, I walked into my bedroom 3 times to take my pills, and each time I was like, "Why am I in here?" And I walked out of the house for the day without my morning pills.
You see?
Oh.
Now, if they're this is what my daddy used to say to my mother: "You need to keep your membrane pills in the kitchen, because every time you go back to the master bathroom to get them, you don't remember what you went there for. Keep your membrane pills." And my mother didn't have remembering pills. It's like
The man that I take care of, he says, I got dentures, and he means dementia, but it's
no.
dentures are really bad today.
Oh my God, Moms! It's like the kid with the ice cream. Their heads. Oh, and my husband told a joke earlier, Jason, not Magnus, and he said, "Why don't chickens wear underwear?" You don't know this one?
I didn't know it either.
Okay, so just like a kid's joke, and they don't know what they're saying. They're peckers on their. Tommy, tell a joke.
What?
Oh God, Tommy, you need to take your. Have you had any coffee today?
I don't drink coffee.
That's what's wrong with you.
That's it, Tommy. All right. Why do chickens not wear pants?
Underpants, panties. Yep, because
Okay.
they're peckers on their face. Yeah. Underwear. Yeah.
It's one of those time jokes where you're laughing 20 minutes from now.
Yeah, it's a play on words. See, a pecker. Yeah, on
We
their
got
nose.
it. We got it.
Okay,
We're not
I was like,
it's just not funny.
it's an old kids joke that kids would tell their parents, and their parents were dying. We didn't know that pecker was slang for a manly part.
Yeah, whenever I was a kid, I said to my dad, I got a joke, and it's a dirty joke, and 2 pigs went into the mud and 3 came out. And I got in so much trouble. I had to have been like 6 or 7, and I got in serious trouble for that. And I was like, "What? They're in the mud." I didn't know.
My God, Moms. I came home and shot my dad with my cannon on the table. "Look, Daddy, there's my cannon." You know how hard my hands got hit? Okay? And it was like, I mean, that hand of that colonel flew out. I was like, yeah! It's like, Daddy's just a cannon. I had no idea. And it was on the table, moving it across the table. And it was the bird. So he knew somebody had wound me up on that. You know, hey, Lily, make a cannon. It was embarrassing. I was like, darn, that hurt. So I got no dinner. And I didn't even know. So then my mother snuck me food because I really didn't know. Because we would not get dinner if we were sassy. And we was hungry, okay? Or you didn't eat your squash, you'd get it for breakfast, right? Then eat on a sandwich. But it was like, my mother understood I was clueless that was the bird. It was a cannon, okay? And the man was in the army, so I'm trying to, like, do army things. It didn't go well for me.
I got in trouble for a hat.
What kind of hat, Tommy?
Well, I had worked all summer to buy a hat. I was 1 yard from my dad. My mama took me to my uncle's store. He owned a gas station to buy a hat. It had an egg on it. I didn't realize when I bought the hat, it said you'd smile too if you'd just been laid.
Oh.
I wore it.
And your mama let you buy that?
She didn't know what it meant.
Oh, God. Where did you wear it?
I wore it to school, and then the teachers figured out what it meant. They got mad at me, called Mama, and I got in trouble when I went home because I bought the hat. And I was like, what? You let me
It
buy
has an
it?
egg on it. An egg. You know how much I like eggs, Mama.
God. I love chicken fruit. Oh, my God, that's wild.
But then later when I figured out what it said, I was like, oh.
I got it now.
Yep, Mom didn't get it, so I didn't get it. Oh, God. Okay, it's 9 o'clock, Tommy.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll see y'all later, guys.
Bye, Moms.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not doing.
We're
Do
just
your
closing
people impression,
the chat
Jason.
down.
Yeah, Jason, you just got here, for God's sake.
Okay. Bye, people. We're out of here. Come back next week.
Bye.
Oh, my Lord. How many more episodes do we even have?